Imagine a huge monster floating on the ocean floor. A mountain of 100,000 tons of steel and raw energy. It looks like a floating city. When this giant thing has to be stopped right in the middle of the ocean, who holds it? You must be thinking of an anchor. That huge, heavy anchor. That gets stuck in the ground. Simple. But if I tell you that your belief is almost completely wrong, doesn't it sound surprising? In fact, the anchor of a huge ship is just a placeholder. That means it is actually just a blank sign. The secret to keeping this sea monster from floating away is hidden somewhere else. Inside the shackles, and there is a mind-blowing physics hidden there. No, 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 no. I will explain it easily. Which will make your head spin. So let's dive into the depths of this incredible mystery, where an extraordinary game of science and engineering is hidden. To keep the ship stationary in one place on the ocean floor, you have to fight against two invisible but incredibly powerful enemies. The wind and the currents are constantly pushing this huge object relentlessly. It's as if some invisible hand is trying to push the ship from all sides. And there are only two main weapons against these two enemies. The first is the anchor, but the interesting thing is that the anchor's job is not to be heavy, its job is to act as a hook. Modern anchors, called stockless anchors, are designed to do one thing perfectly: to sink into the seabed. When it hits the seabed, its fluke means that those shovel-like handles grab the ground and sink like nails. But here's the big problem. Not all seabeds are the same. If you throw an anchor on hard rocks, it's no use. The anchor will slip like skating. It won't work at all. The same situation is also in algae deposits, where the algae create a slippery surface like a carpet where the anchor will just slide. It works a little better on sandy bottoms. Dirt gets stuck in very easily. But the problem is that it is difficult to get a solid grip. The most perfect situation is to find clay or silt soil, where dirt penetrates like nails. Great grip, but you think that is not the end of the story. Here is actually the beginning of the story. Even if you get a perfect grip, dirt can actually do nothing on its own. It is very helpless alone. The real hero is the real star, who is called a rode in technical terms, on a large ship. This chain is several hundred meters long and is made of incredibly heavy and strong steel. Now get ready to be surprised. Each link of this chain weighs about 160 kilogram. Yes, you heard right. A single link is as heavy as a whole cow. Moreover, the dirt itself is not a light thing. About 23,000 kilograms, which is equal to the weight of about 15 ordinary cars together. But the funny thing is that the work of the anchor is very simple. Just hold the end of the chain. Nothing more than that. The real holding power comes from the whole chain and the dirt. The total weight of which may surprise you. 243,000 kilogram. That's about the same as the weight of a full-grown blue whale. Imagine that a small chain weighs the same as a whole blue whale. Now comes the real magic that will really surprise you. There is a certain art to anchoring. There is a certain technique. And it is connected to a beautiful mathematical concept. The catenary curve. As the dirt falls to the bottom of the sea, more chains start to come off the ship. Not just a few, but many chains. The goal here is not to create a straight line but to create a long and heavy beautiful tiger of chains that will lie flat on the seabed for a long time, and this tiger is called a catenary. These simple-looking tigers do two incredible things. First, when a few hundred feet of roots lie heavy on the seabed, they create enormous unimaginable friction. They act like a giant paperweight. And this is the most genius thing. It acts as a perfect shock absorber. How? When the wind or waves hit the ship hard, they don't pull it directly into the dirt. Instead, They try to lift this incredibly heavy chain off the seabed. All the strength, all the energy, has been spent fighting against this huge weight of the chain. The tiger slowly starts to straighten. It absorbs all the shock like a giant rubber band. And by the time that force, that push, reaches the dirt, by that time it has become so weak that there is only a light, gentle pull. If this tiger were not there, the anchor would come out of the ground with any sudden jolt. Yes, the catenary is the secret trick. This is the difference between anchoring and just tying down heavy things. Anyway, the ship is now completely locked. But now we have to go. So how do you lift an anchor that is designed not to come out? It seems almost impossible, right? In fact, here it is not just pulled up, it is driven by the ship. The ship uses its main engine to slowly move forward, just above the anchor. As the ship moves, the windlass means that the big machine in front pulls the chain more and more. The ship's engine does the work of moving the ship forward, and the windlass only has to lift the weight of the chain badly when the ship comes to a stop right above the anchor. The chain pulls and it rises straight up. This vertical pull lifts the back of the anchor up, acting like a lever, and frees the anchor from the grip of the ground. So the next time you see a huge ship standing still in the harbor, you will understand that it is not held by the weight of a heavy anchor but by a majestic tiger. By the hidden laws of physics and the spreading power of a huge chain. Yes, this is a wonderful game of science and engineering.